That dialogue that tells us that we're doing something wrong. That dialogue that tells us that we're doing something right. That dialogue that says, don't do this, do that. Almost kind of like the angel and the picture of I guess of the evil person, the devil on your shoulder saying, stick them, do that, do that, do that. And no, don't do that. And that's what I would define self-talk, is that, again, that inner dialogue that we all have. And self-talk is not bad. It's self-talk. That's what people think. But the reality of it is that self-talk in itself, it has to cover some ground. It has to be going in one direction or the other. So self-talk is not just self-talk. There's positive self-talk and there's the negative self-talk. And in most cases, the negative self-talk comes from the things that we've done in life or things that have been done to us in life. And in most instances, things that we felt that we were out of control. No, we had no control over, I should say. And the biggest problem with self-talk a lot of times, or at least the negative self-talk, is that we don't know how to turn it off. Some people are saying some awful things about themselves, whereas that one person can love that person for who they are. And another person says, well, that the person that's got this conversation going on is saying, well, I'm unlovable. Doesn't think much of themselves. And so eventually the self-talk, it's kind of like chipping at a wall, if you will, over and over and over and over. And it doesn't seem like it's doing that much damage, but over a period of time, the self-talk will destroy that wall. It's kind of like when I was a child, I would say, or I wouldn't even say a child, but I was more like a young adult, I would say, I'm bored, I'm bored, I'm bored. And I can remember that. And I eventually had taken it to a place where I said, you know what does that mean, this I'm bored? And I did some reading, some research. I don't even know if Google was around that long, but I did some research on it and found that the way they would bore a hole through the center of a rock was to have a dripping of water constantly, over and over, just repeatedly on that rock. And eventually, that rock would bore a hole through the very center of it. And this just goes to show you the power of words and our self-talk, the power of our repeated action over and over, as the words are, again, pounding against that wall, with like a chisel pounding against that wall. And it's compounded with our degree or our level of intention, if you will. And so those effects are compounded. Again, you take this child, if you will, certain things have happened from they were small. And now you take this, or you have this adult who is well and able now, and they're at a place where all of a sudden the negative conversations from this child plays a part or plays a role in their day-to-day activity. So you have from here being really where the child had no control. Life happens, things happen. And so now you have this adult who's coming to their own with a greater understanding, but still no control over what happened over here, or down here at least. And you have that conversation being repeated over and over and over, and eventually wearing us out. We all have those conversations, and it's wearing the person out to the point where their armor begins to show signs of wear. Their armor is all of a sudden defective, and that their armor is no longer protecting them anymore. And you ask, what is the armor? The armor could be just the very opposite of what the negative thoughts are, the negative self-talk. The armor could be the positive self-talk. How effective will the positive self-talk be if the negative has such a residence? And so in most cases, any opportunity for the person to build themselves up and the right understanding, grabbing hold of different words that's going to give them an opportunity to express themselves, coming from this child that was dealing with this and different things that were going on. So now the positive self-talk wants to come in and disavow what was taking place at this age, but confirm what is now. This is what the positive self-talk wants to do now. But because of the damage that's been done, it's not impossible, but as we spoke of earlier, is that in order for someone to heal themselves, you have to recognize that you're sick first. You have to recognize that you're dealing with a situation where I'm not at my best. And sometimes due to this negative self-talk, we have a tendency as just people, we want to grab for this and grab for that. But we can't rightfully take hold of it because of the damage that's been done here. We don't feel that we're worthy of it. So this is where the positive self-talk comes in. The positive self-talk is going to allow you to confirm who you are and disavow what was said. And again, as I mentioned before, it does take work. It will take work. But just as much as the doctor would give us a prescription to take something to heal our body, we have to be diligent in our practice and choosing the right words to heal our body. Remember, folks, we're talking about transformation, transformational mind, a new mindset. That's what we're talking about today, a new mindset. We're talking about conquering what has been trying to devour us, if you will. We're talking about coming out on top for those things that have been trying to destroy us. And in most cases, we want to sometimes say it's the people, but sometimes the people are long gone. The first offenders are long gone, if you will. But they've left us with the damaging effects of the words. And we use those words as tools, if you will, to just beat ourselves over the head, to continue to confirm that we are what they said we are, even if we don't believe it. So that is the difference between negative self-talk will disavow who we are. It will say that, no, you're not worth it. It will engage that criticism, that critical thinking, not in a positive way, but that critic that is in all of us. The negative self-talk will bring forth the critic, and the critic eventually will try to destroy us. That critic that is in all of us. But the positive self-talk says, no, you have another chance. And I'm your chance. So if we will give the positive self-talk an opportunity by choosing the words that the doctor, in a sense the doctor would give us a prescription for an ailment, we have an opportunity to choose the positive words, the positive self-talk, the positive thought process.
I have a question. If you were given negative words, no positive reinforcement growing up as a child,
Right.
where do you get the self-talk, you haven't heard it.
Right.
So where would you go for
Right.
those
Right.
things
Right.
to change your
Right.
self-talk from negative to positive?
Right, absolutely. Very good question. And my suggestion would be for that individual is to find themselves a hero, if you will. Someone that perhaps, if it's not mom, if it's not dad, if it's not a brother or sister or someone in their family, find themselves a hero that they can read about. And again, get themselves engaged and finding out more information about the hero. Find that the hero has even bad days. Finding out that the hero isn't perfect. And I would just say, encourage that person to read. Go after something. For instance, like if the person's interested in photography, choose a photographer that you like. Read up on some of their writings or look at some of their pictures, their portfolio that's been put together. So I think that might be a very good suggestion that could, definitely lend a hand to thinking more positive, those positive self-talks. And a lot of times we forget the objective. And sometimes we don't know the objective, but we forget the objective. But again, it might be that my objective for right now is to hang on to your coattail and to find out where I'm going for now. That's my objective. Because sometimes we just don't know. We just don't know.
Now, I have a question. Now, I've heard people mention things about words of affirmation. So are you kind of suggesting that maybe we go and just, even though we've never heard the words, we go and find, I don't know, maybe a book on positive, things. I don't know.
Absolutely. And that is an awesome suggestion, and I definitely would encourage it, absolutely, because the only way that you're going to get the positive self-talking in that mind of ours is to fill it with positive words. And even when you don't understand them, keep speaking them, keep speaking them, keep speaking them, and keep speaking them over and over and over. Because remember, from a child, we've had these words that we've said to ourselves, and whether we believe them or not, they were there. And they were the same words that eventually we trust in them. Because we get some kind of comfort out of it. Because even though we don't understand it, it's interesting because we in fact get comfort out of it. We get comfort out of it because of the fact that we're so accustomed to it. It's what we've been doing. It's comfortable, absolutely. Absolutely. So understand that as the question was just asked, am I suggesting that you grab hold of positive affirmations? Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is the best way that you're going to refill up this void, if you will, with the right words that's going to get you on the right track, the right thought process, because now we're placing the negative talking with the positive talking. Because we eventually want to put this positive talking, this self-talking, we want to put this self-talking, positive self-talking on autopilot, just as the negative self-talking has been. We want to eject the old pilot and put the new pilot in charge up here. So there you have it, folks. And any more questions I can answer for you? If not, that's going to conclude our meeting. And thanks for being a part of our discussion, self-talk.